The bus stop was almost empty when Daniel noticed her. Rain misted the cracked pavement. Evening traffic hummed past, and the digital sign flickered between routes like it was tired too. She sat on the metal bench with her hands folded tight in her lap, a thin white cane resting against her knee. Her shoes were too small, her sweater threadbare, and her eyes milky. Unfocused never, followed the passing buses. She didn't flinch when doors hissed open or when strangers brushed past. She just waited. And the longer Daniel watched, the more something cold pressed against his chest. Because no one waits like that unless they've been told to stay. Daniel was a single dad, the kind who measured his days in school pickups, grocery lists, and the quiet ache of doing everything alone. His daughter, Lily, was at home with a neighbor while he rushed back from a late shift at the warehouse. He'd missed dinner again. He told himself he'd just check the time and keep walking, but then the girl spoke, her voice small and steady, like she'd practiced being brave. "Sir, excuse me. Do you know if the number 32 stops here?" He froze. "It does," he said, stepping closer. "You waiting for someone?" "Yes," she replied, her chin lifting slightly. "My aunt said she'd come back." Daniel glanced around. No car idled nearby. No worried adult paced the sidewalk. The rain was getting thicker now, and the streetlights blinked on one by one. "How long have you been here?" he asked gently. She hesitated. Since the sun was up. Something inside him just broke open. He crouched so his voice wouldn't tower over her. "What's your name?" "Amelia," she said. "I'm blind, but I can hear the buses." She smiled as if that explained everything. A bus roared past without even stopping. Amelia's smile didn't fade, but her fingers tightened around the cane. Daniel swallowed hard. He thought of Lily's hands, always warm and sticky with juice, always reaching for him at crossings. He thought of all the promises adults made and broke. "Amelia," he said gently, "are you hungry?" Her head tipped, listening. "I had a sandwich. This morning, it was late afternoon now." He made a decision that felt less like a choice and more like gravity. "Let's get you somewhere dry," he said. "We'll figure this out together." Amelia didn't resist when he offered his arm. She rose carefully, trusting him without seeing him, and that trust hit him harder than the rain. As they walked, she asked questions. What color the buses were, whether the trees across the street smelled different when it rained. Daniel answered everything, trying not to show how much it hurt to hear the world described by someone who couldn't see it. He called the local shelter. They were a fool. He called the police. Non-emergency line. The wait time stretched on. He bought her soup from a corner deli and watched her eat slowly, grateful for each spoonful. Halfway through the bowl, she said softly, "My aunt said my mom didn't want me anymore." Daniel's chest tightened. "Your mom?" She couldn't see either, Amelia said. "But she sang to me. She said we'd be okay." Daniel didn't know what to say, so he just stayed. He stayed while the rain slowed to a whisper and the streetlights reflected like gold coins on the wet road. He stayed because leaving felt impossible. And somewhere between the second phone call and the third bus that never stopped, Amelia asked a question that changed everything. "Do you have a daughter?" "Yes," Daniel said. "Does she like bedtime stories?" He laughed, despite himself. "She won't sleep without them." "Could you tell me one?" Amelia asked. "While we wait." So he did. He told her a story about a brave girl who navigated the world by listening closely and trusting her heart. Amelia leaned in, her smile real and bright, and for a moment the bus stop felt like a place where good things could still happen. If this story is touching something in you right now, take a moment. Where are you watching from? Leave your city in the comments. Sometimes knowing we're not alone in this world makes all the difference. The police finally arrived. After dark, paperwork followed. Questions. Amelia answered calmly, her voice practiced in patience. When they asked about the aunt, Amelia described a woman with a floral scarf and a voice that smelled like cigarettes. Daniel noticed the way the officer's pen paused. The aunt's name didn't check out. The address didn't exist. They traced Amelia's mother through old hospital records. A long-closed case. A woman who had lost her sight, lost her job, lost her apartment tanned, then lost her life to pneumonia 2 winters ago. Amelia had been placed with distant relatives who'd taken the stipend and left the child where she couldn't wander far, where promises could be made and then forgotten. The truth landed with a thud that stole the air from Daniel's lungs. Amelia hadn't just been abandoned that day. She'd been abandoned again and again. When the officer said Amelia would be taken to temporary care, her small fingers found Daniel's sleeve. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. Say whose side. Will you tell your daughter a story for me? Daniel's voice shook. I will, he said, and I'll come see you. He meant it, and then he proved it. The weeks that followed were a blur of forms and visits and quiet afternoons where Daniel read to Amelia, while Lily colored at the table beside them. Lily adored her instantly, guiding Amelia's hands to feel the raised lines of her drawings, describing colors like they were flavors. Amelia taught Lily how to listen to footsteps, to the wind, to the quiet hum of a refrigerator, and the apartment filled with a new kind of attention, one that was tender and careful. But there were challenges. Daniel worked long hours. Money was tight. The system moved so slowly. He doubted himself late at night, wondering if love was really enough to bridge what the world had taken from Amelia. He started learning about braille labels and audiobooks, and white cane training. He learned a kind of patience he didn't know he had. And Amelia learned something too, that adults could come back, that some promises could hold. The day the caseworker asked if Daniel would consider fostering, he didn't hesitate. He looked at Lily, who nodded with a seriousness that made him so proud, and then at Amelia, who stood very still, listening for the answer she pretended not to need. Yes, he said. The truth that had stunned him at the bus stop revealed itself fully then, not just that Amelia had been wronged, but that his own life had been waiting for this exact turn. He wasn't rescuing her. They were rescuing each other. Months later, Daniel walked Amelia to the very same bus stop. The rain had cleared. The digital sign shone bright. Amelia practiced tapping her cane, counting her steps, smiling with a newfound confidence. I know this place, she said. It sounds different now. It does, Daniel agreed. A bus pulled in and stopped. The doors hissed open. Daniel watched Amelia step forward, steady and sure. As Lily cheered softly beside him, he felt something settle deep into place, a sense that healing wasn't the loud or fast, but patient and real. At home that night, Daniel read 2 bedtime stories. Lily fell asleep first. Amelia listened until the very end, then whispered, "Thank you for not walking past me." He turned off the light and stood there for a moment, letting gratitude wash over him. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs a little bit of hope tonight. And before you go, please tell us where you're watching from, your city, your corner of the world. Stories like this travel so much farther when we carry them together. Thanks for watching.